The legacy of Ethiopian Christianity. Ethiopia is home to the oldest Christian communities on the earth. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church traces its origin back to the 4th century CE, with the conversion of the king of Esna at Aksum under the guidance of Syrian bishop Frumentius. But Ethiopia was not a blank spiritual canvas before that. For centuries, the region had practiced complex spiritual systems infused with ancestral reverence, solar alignments, elemental forces, and sacred cosmologies. The Aksumite Empire held court with Egyptian and Nubian kings. And much like Kemet, ancient Egypt, Ethiopia was a center of esoteric thought and divine kingship, where the kings were, considered to be divine. Some enslaved Africans were indeed Christian before being captured, but many more were practitioners of African spiritual systems, like Vodun, Ifa, Dagra, or those specific to the Congo, Akan, or Bantu traditions. The forced merging of these beliefs within a European Christianity birthed powerful hybrid systems. Right. Things like Voodoo, Vodun, Santenaria, and Candomblé, which blend African cosmologies with the imposed symbols of Catholicism and the Protestant movement. Still, the presence of Christianity in Ethiopia does not excuse the indoctrination of the masses into that Eurocentric version of that faith. In fact, Ethiopia's story was weaponized to justify that. The Sheba-Solomon myth. Royal roots, or religious rope. One of the most enduring religious legends in Ethiopian tradition is the union of King Solomon and Queen Sheba, a myth found in the Ethiopian epic called the Gebra Nagast. According to this tradition, the Queen of Sheba traveled to Jerusalem to test Solomon's wisdom. You've heard of this. She was seduced or married, the counts vary, bore a son named Menelik I. Menelik supposedly visited Solomon later in life and returned to Ethiopia with the Ark of the Covenant. This lineage is said to establish the direct royal divine connection between Ethiopia and Israel. But here's the challenge. No archaeological evidence exists to confirm this story. The Gebra Nagast was written in the 14th century CE, over 2,000 years after the supposed events. There is no historical record in Hebrew, Egyptian, or Ethiopian archives that verify Menelik or the transfer of the Ark. Yet millions accept this as a myth. They accept it as a story. And they also accept it as divine history. Why? Because myths that place us in proximity to biblical power feel more comforting than facing the trauma of cultural erasure. I know something about cultural erasure. The Solomon Sheba tale gives us an ancient seat at the table. But proximity, being near to the myth, is not the same as liberation. I'd argue it puts us more in the bondage.